as soon as the Rams drafted Blake Corum on day 2 of the draft, I remember right where I was. Funny enough, actually plowing some Busch Light and pizza at the Dewey Beach Bar with Elliot, my co-host over on the NASCAR program. So I remember right where I was, and at that moment, I hit the eject button on Kyren Williams. I was like, yeah, this guy is legit. Looking at Blake Corum, 500 touches the past 2 years at Michigan, scored over 27 touchdowns a season ago. Now Kyren Williams, who's been hurt most of the offseason as well, and his career, let's not forget it, lost the whole first season of his career to injury, is now listed as a starting punt returner, boys. Like, this is what we were saying with Antonio Gibson a couple years ago, and not that like it's to that level. But I think this signals to me that with Kyren Williams being the starting punt returner, that Blake Corum is at least going to see some type of legit role in this backfield. He won't be the starter, but I think he sees 10 to 12 touches right away here. So especially in the red zone where Blake Corum does very well. So I'm excited about it. The Rams play the best team in the league as far as a Thunder and Lightning backfield goes in week 1, Detroit Lions. So I think they'll say, hey, let's match your fire with a little bit of lightning here and get Blake Corum and Kyren Williams going. Are you guys concerned? Are you hitting the eject button on Kyren like I am and praying that your 9th, 10th round Blake Corum exposures come through?
Yeah. I'm not terribly concerned about Blake Corum. Actually, I'm not really concerned about either of them. I think they're going to do fine. I think Kyren, he was so touchdown dependent last year that I guess you can look at this as a problem. But honestly, I never found him to be. I thought he was more of a flash in the pan. It's the same reason we're not drafting Raheem Mostert this year. I don't think he's that good. As far as the punt returning thing, though, goes, Cooper Kupp also returned punts, and I think he wound up having his best season of all time. So, like, I'm not terribly worried about that. Sean McVay really seems to be the kind of guy that's like, I want my best players to have the ball in their hands as much as possible. But Kyren Williams is just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to say this in a nice way and not come across as just like a huge fucking downer. But, like, that man kind of, like, fell into a good fantasy season for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely deserves all the praise and all the credit that he got. He performed very well in that situation, but the opportunity was golden as well at the same time. Eric, how do you hope this shakes out? How do you see it shaking out here as early as week 1 here in just about 9 or 10 days?
Yeah, this is going to be a super lame answer, but wait and see, right? All of this is reporting
Cheater.
And speculation, right? So it's hard to say.
He's listed on the depth chart. Punt returner 1.
Yeah,
Kyren
I mean,
Williams.
how many times have we seen coaches mess around with the depth chart, right? So, like, is it a good sign for him? Probably not, right? Like, I definitely think it's fair to.
I don't want my second round pick as a punt returner. That's for damn sure.
Unless you're in Scott Fishbowl.
Specifically that designation, I don't think it's as heavy as it would be in years past, right? Like with the new kickoff rules,
I guess too.
I think we're gonna see teams put more of their athletic top skill set players out there. So it's not like he's being relegated to special teams, at least in the way that we would react to that in seasons past, right?
If Ron Rivera did it, Rivera did it, you're worried because he's terrible.
For sure. I think, look, I've said this for years now. Happiness is a function of expectations, right? To your point, when Blake Corum was drafted, if your expectation that Kyren Williams was still going to have an 80% opportunity share stranglehold in this backfield, you were setting yourself up to be disappointed when this day inevitably came, right? The Rams have been incredibly clear. They went out and they acquired Blake Corum because he has a very similar and complementary skill set to that of Kyren Williams. And they brought him in because they wanted to keep Kyren Williams fresh, right? Maybe with the injuries, now it became more of an open competition and we'll see closer to an even split, right? Or maybe this was their plan all along. They were going to give him, every other series and let Kyren Williams keep his legs under him, right? So if that was your expectation, as it was largely for me throughout the offseason, really nothing's changed, right? If you were thinking that he maybe should have been a first rounder and you pushed all your chips in the middle with him, you're probably having a bit of a bumpy news cycle today.